All right, so we're starting, sort of. And now I'm down to 20 minutes. That's good. Good. All right, effectiveness. I'll jump right into what this is all about. Being effective, as you can see at the top of the notes, it says starts with personal, spiritual, and business. Now, that's not in any specific order. We'll talk about order as far as that's concerned a little bit later here. I do have a definition for effectiveness: the process and procedure towards achieving a goal. And that definition is from the Book of the Man. That's me. That is not from the regular dictionary. It's just from my work or doing business on a day-to-day basis and what I've discovered. Oh, you need one? I have a whole stack of them here for the rest of everybody else who's on their way.
It's summer.
All right. So I don't have to talk all of it. Let's see.
I'll take one.
All right. Now, the process and procedure towards achieving the goal. And then the three focuses in every person's life are self, others, and things. And it's not necessarily be done in that order. It's up to you how you do things in order. But I believe that in order for you to be effective in someone else's life, you got to be effective in your own life first. And in order for all the things that are in your life that you want to be effective at, you got to make sure you're effective first. So, and in order for all those things also to be great and really be something that is satisfying, you need other people involved. So, let's see, the second definition that I have here regarding effectiveness is the management of time, talent, and treasure. That's in everything that you do. If you do not manage those things correctly, you're going to have problems. The most important commodity in the world is time. Anybody disagree? All right. What is a commodity? It is a marketable item produced to satisfy wants or needs. And I did get that from the dictionary. So, time is traded on the world market every day in everything that we do. No matter what, you need time in order to be able to make anything work. So, business effectiveness. One of the things that I have to deal with in business for myself is standard operating procedures. In order for, again, that time, talent, and treasure, in order for it to work out, standard operating procedures are very important for me that I can share what I'm doing, that I can duplicate what I'm doing for myself as well as for other people who are on my team if I have a team. That way they can follow me in whatever it is that I'm doing. Another thing in business effectiveness for me is technology. And I bring up the things that are related to my own effectiveness because I want you to do the same thing. At the end of this, that's what we're going to do. We have a worksheet on the back of here that will help us work through what's going to be required for us to be effective in our business, in our personal lives, and in our spiritual lives. So this is just a list of things that I have to deal with in order to be effective in business. So devices, apps, equipment. I have to be concerned about all those individual things in order to be effective. And in being effective in dealing with my devices, my apps, and all those things, I usually will take something like the worksheet that you'll have on the back of here and fill in the blanks and be able to see where I'm going, how I'm going to get there, and how these things solve problems for my business. So I'm a visual person, and by me visually creating something that I can see, I can make a decision on the pros and cons of being effective. Let's see, expenses, of course, that's the treasure part of things, the money, and how I use my money to achieve the goals in order to be effective in doing my work. Spiritual effectiveness. Spiritual effectiveness starts with, number one, I just have decided that I'm going to seek first the kingdom of God in my life. And then the next thing is the application of notes. When I say to apply the notes for me, that's one Sunday morning when I go to church and my pastor gives me some direction about life and about things that are going on. Usually nearly every time the word comes forth, it's a word for my life, or what I should be doing, how I should handle things that are going on around me, things of that sort. So I take notes, and I don't know about you, but I often will take those notes and rarely go back and actually reread over them, make sure I'm applying them. And this is part of the effectiveness in my spiritual life in order for me to be spiritually effective. For instance, in my day-to-day work, as I'm preparing to do something, how I do it, the reason why I do it, all of those things are affected by the spirituality that's occurring in my life. Whether I have read the word that morning, whether I prayed that morning or not, those things, all of this comes together to affect me. I might be a little bit choppy right now, but I hope at the end of this it'll all come together, because I'm kind of hitting pieces and parts, and I'm going to try and bring it all together at the end. Applying the notes that I take on Sundays. Number 3, focus, a relationship opposed to a religion. Developing a relationship with God opposed to a religion being a practice. That practice, when I talk about a practice, I'm saying the ideal that I have to be up at 6 a.m., that first I pray, then I have a praise song, then I, kind of like having an itinerary of something. It's a practice, nothing wrong with a practice and everything, but I want to have a relationship with God as such that when I praise God, it's because He is so great, so wonderful. He's God, that in the morning when I get ready to go and start with the Word, that before or as I'm going to do that, I know I'm going to get in the Word, but I'm saying, Lord, where would you have me to be? And as I flip through, I just kind of have a relationship, one that my spirit connects with God. So being spiritual is not something that you just wake up in the morning, there it is, or you just all of a sudden, it's not as simple as me being hungry. So it's something that is focused upon and everything else. So let's see. All right. Skipping over stuff right now. Goals regarding your spiritual effectiveness. If you have no goals, you don't know where you're going, how you're going to get there, and therefore, wherever you end up, you just end up. So there are steps to execution. When you know what those goals are and you list out what the steps are going to be, that's how you get to where you're going. So again, at the end, I think it's all going to come together what I'm saying. All right, we are more than a body. We are more than just our feelings, and we are essentially spiritual beings. That's essentially what we are, who we are, and everything else. The order of importance regarding these things being our body, our feelings, and our spirit, the order of importance is revealed by the world we live in. And that revelation is by this, the world we live in is in opposition to God, who is a spirit. All right? Number 1, the body will perish. All right? Knowing that it'll perish, that's one thing that we want to take into account. Number 2, our feelings are here today and they change tomorrow. So do we really want to have something that's so seesaw? Is that really to be first in our lives? And then the spirit, our spirits are hungry and seek to be near the Lord. So we are always seeking to find something that is forever, something that's more reliable, and that is found in God. So you decide for yourself is ultimately what I'm saying. Do you want to rely on my body? That's the most important thing? Or do you want to rely on your feelings as being the most important thing? Or do you want to make sure you feed your spirit and get something that is forever. And I did make a personal statement down here at the bottom. I make a choice daily to decide the order of effectively living my life. Believe and obey the way prescribed in the Bible, or do something else. So I have to make that decision, and I make that decision every single day. Which way am I going to go? I encourage you to often assess your lives for effectiveness with the worksheet on the other side of this page. It is a beginning to a process towards knowing where you are going, declaring your vision, opening yourself to hearing the Lord, stepping into your destiny, helping someone else because you are on the move, going wherever you're going. And this effectiveness worksheet basically lists at the top your spiritual concerns, your personal concerns, and your business concerns. Now, let me give you the scriptural references or the book of the Bible that is so important, that really addresses these things here, and that's Ecclesiastes. In Ecclesiastes, King Solomon basically takes time to review all the things in the world that you can do, all the things that you can consider to be important, whether it be to eat, women, things that you can own, the work that you do, all those things, and God. And when he finishes with all the things that he had indulged himself in, the only thing that he could find that would be satisfying at the end of the day was his relationship with God and finding work that he loved to do. If he could find those two things, those were the two major things, he said that's the meaning of life. That's everything right there. So, in order to have the meaning of life occur in your life, I think that being effective is very important. And I should mention one of the things that makes people either love me or hate me is the fact that I'm an all or nothing kind of person. All right, I am able to be an all or nothing kind of person based on this one thing. I will make this list. I will decide pros and cons of whatever it is I'm going to do. And once I have decided which one I'm going to go towards, I'm all in. But when I've decided that I'm not going to do that, I'm all out. I'm either in or I'm out. When it's time for me to whatever, you can count on me or you can't. It's going to be one or the other. So, to have an all or nothing kind of attitude or mannerism in life also does not mean all the time that just because I'm all in, I got all the answers. Everything's going to turn out great. What it means is I'm committed to the process. I'm going to go from the beginning to the end, to the next, and I'm going to do whatever it takes. I'm going to switch it around, I'm going to twist it, I'm going to turn it, but I'm going to get to my result. If I'm out, I don't care what you say. It's over. I'm not doing it, and that's it. And that makes some folks feel like, dude, you can't just make a decision and put them all out. You should be a little more in the middle and all that. I'm not a middle person. I can't live with middle ground. I'll give you an example of living with middle ground. Real quick, I'm a photographer. I have lots of clients, and he's still my client, but I used to come into this one client's office, and he had a picture on his desk, a big one, that I had done. And he showed it to everybody. The guy was proud of that picture, but every time I came to his office, that picture irked me for the smallest reason, and the smallest to everybody else, but it was the biggest thing to me because I knew I could do better. I should have done better when I did the thing, but I did it under this fact. I wasn't really being paid. I had some other things going on with the thing, gave it to him anyway and all that, but I didn't do my best. And it bothered me every time I saw it. Eventually, I went to my office, I redid that thing, I went to his office, I didn't ask him nothing. I took that frame off his desk, I replaced it, put the new one in there, and left. Well, I told him he was cool with it because I was giving him a better product. But what I learned about myself is, in my business, if you hire me to do a $100 job, I don't have no $100 work that I can do for you, really. But if I decide I'm going to do your job, I guarantee you I'm going to come, I'm going to do a $1,000 job when I do. I'm not gonna do $100 job. I'm not a $100 service person. I'm a $1,000 service person. I'm a all the way service person. I'm gonna give you everything I got. The effectiveness in my life for me to be what I'm supposed to be is do it all or don't do it at all. Okay? And I may very well, you know, when you see your product, you're gonna see everything, but I'm gonna give you $100 worth of my $1,000 work. That's how that's gonna work. But you'll have the option to be able to get it all. It's just I don't go and do par. So now I'm going to quickly go over this real quick so that you'll know how this works. And I guarantee you, if you do this in your life, whatever it is that you're happy or unhappy about, you can place it on here and decide whether this is what you should be doing. Real simple. You only have so many hours in a day. The time is here for self. The time is here for others. The time is here for all the other things that you can do. Name it what you want, and then put what time are you going to do that on this day. All right? It doesn't have the breakdown of Monday through Friday, Saturday, and Sunday on here. You can do that yourself if you decide you want to. I got some extra blanks here and all that. But my point is this. Being effective is a matter of planning, process, procedures, all those things. And if you will walk through those things, you'll be happy. You'll be less unhappy. You'll get rid of the stuff that you shouldn't be doing, and you'll be doing the things that you should be doing. Last example of that is when I first started my business as a photographer. You know, I had the skill of videography too. And when I first started out, of course, I was by myself and everything, and I was trying to do photo and video at the same time for clients. And what I found at the end of the day is while I was doing video, I was missing great photos. And while I was doing photos, I was missing great video because the video camera was pointing in the wrong direction. It irked me so bad that I said I gotta choose one or the other and give up one. So I gave up the video part because I felt like after I put it on my list of pros and cons, what I have, what I don't have, what the future's gonna look like, and all that other stuff, but I gotta deal with the present, I decided to let video go. And that's what I did. Recently I picked up video again, but I'm different. I'm a little more advanced than I was then. I can do things a little different. So, and I have more available to me than I had then. So, but I say that to say, in order for me to be effective and happy and all that other stuff, it required me to make a decision to go one way or the other. That's not really the point that I was trying to make. Can't remember what it is. So long. Anybody want to say anything before I go?
Define effective.
Define it again. I defined it from the Book of the Man. That means that I got my own definition. I didn't look in the dictionary. I'm giving you my definition. It is the process and procedure towards achieving a goal. So whatever the process and procedure is towards achieving a goal, that is what effectiveness is. All right? It's those steps. If the process is first I need to do this, then I need to do that, then so on and so on. And then the second part of the definition is the management of time, talent, and treasure. All right? It is the management of those things. If you, for instance, I want to be effective in changing his mind about something, but I don't have time for it, I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. You got to have time. That's the first and most important thing, and I do have down here that the fact that time is the most important thing of all things. Nothing else is more important than time. All right? Money is time. Time is money. That's the end of that. So you have all the talent in the world. If you have no time, it doesn't matter. You have all the money in the world. If you have no time, it doesn't matter. And what I'm saying too is not all complete and full, but go ahead.
Okay. I think what about the definition? Because you can have all the steps in order.
Yes, ma'am.
But it still may not necessarily be. I mean, I guess it's in my mind, something else needs to be other than just step by step accomplishing certain things.
There's two parts I gave you.
Okay, what's the other part?
The first part is that you have to have the process and procedure, know what the process and procedure towards a goal. So you got a goal, you got a process and procedure there. Now that we know what the process and procedure is, step 1, step 2, step 3, now we need to know how much time do I have? Do I have the talent and ability to do this? And then last, do I have the money to get it done? If I have these things and everything works out, and the rest of my life works out, I'm a person, I got personal stuff, I've got business stuff, and I got spiritual things that are going on. And balancing all of that, whatever comes first, second, third, again, I'm not trying to make this into an answer to all of it in this moment, because there's a whole lot more to it than just this. There's a whole lot more to being effective, but I want to kind of, in everything that you can think of that's not here, it belongs here. Because there's stuff that belongs in your life that doesn't belong in her life, that belongs in, you know what I'm saying? So you have to work it out for you, and you get those pieces laid out to be effective. The main thing is we want to be effective.
I understand what you're saying. I guess sometimes I've seen people do all the right things, with the right skills, the right ability. But when you say the effective, to be able to, the people who you're serving have, I mean, they, even you do everything right and good, excellent, but that means you're effective doing what you're called to do. But the success of the people you're serving, how they
Let me give you one more thing about what she said, because she's right. It would seem that that's the case, but did you do what you were supposed to do? Did you have the time? Did you apply your talent? Did you apply all the money that you were supposed to it? Everything worked out as far as that's concerned, but you didn't receive what I had available to you? That doesn't make me ineffective. Not necessarily. I may need to look at another way to do it, but I certainly was effective in my decision on going forward, doing it. I did it according to the plan, the process, the procedure, and everything else. It's the people who don't have a plan, a process, or procedure. You know, those are the ones who are going to definitely be ineffective. But, you know, and last but not least, the most important thing of all is before I go, whatever my plan is, hallelujah. Now I can get into the other part of the message.
Yeah.
But my time is up. I'm sorry. Catch me next time.
You have time, go ahead.
No. Oh, but pray over everything. Pray over everything before you go. I can't tell you, in reading the fights that took place in the Old Testament, before they went, they prayed. And they didn't necessarily always get a word from God saying, I'm going to be with you. They prayed, God is with me because I prayed, because I'm going forth, I've done what I was supposed to do. And they went, and they defeated. All right? There are examples of the opposite happening, you know, but ultimately, do what you're supposed to do. God is with you.
You know, Patrick, if I may, that's one of the things that we're missing today in our, just with this whole candidacy thing that I just got through with the Congress and all. That's what we're missing in our society, is people that stop before they do things and ask, God, is this right? Is this what we're supposed to be doing? And if it is, would you bless us? Nobody does it. Nobody does it. And there's so many aspects or examples in American history where people just stop and said, you know what, Lord, bless us on this campaign to, you know, get away from the British, or bless us on this, and then once that blessing was given, to stop and say thank you. And that completes exactly what you're talking about with effectiveness. When you stop and you prioritize and you say, Lord, is this where you want me to go? And if it is, I'm all in. And then once you're all in and you've accomplished whatever you wanted to accomplish, if you stop and say thanks, it's just amazing what the blessings you can get.
Yeah, I think that most people would like to be able to point to one thing. That's it. That's what's going to make things work and all that, and it's not that way. So what I've done here is simply say, let's look at all these different areas, features, pieces, and stuff, and get the main thing down. And I think the main thing is, first of all, understand that I'm a spirit, I am a body, and I am a business person. All right, and as a person who's limited in all these different places and areas, there are other things that I apply to it in those areas of 3. And when I decide to work within the bounds of who I am and what I am, and then I can succeed. You know, so I've discovered at this point in my life, in order for me to go further than I currently am, I need other people connected to me so that my box can get a little bigger, because their box is this big, and then this person's box, and then that is how I extend further out, and I'm able to do more and transform and become something completely different from what I currently am, as one person who's able to do one thing at a time.
Thank you, Mr. Patrick Brand. It's amazing how we can easily go about our days, and like you said, we don't want to stop and just take a good hard look at ourselves, but we need to assess ourselves, don't we? Because we don't want to just be impressive. Anybody can put the entrepreneur title on and brag about how I'm this, I'm that, I have this business, I do this. But what effect are you having? Not just on your own bank account, but in your family, in the world around you. God didn't put us here to be impressive. You're supposed to be effective. So thank you very much, Mr. Rand. Good job. We're going to take these assessments home with us and really take your time to do them. And if there's something that needs to be changed, be open to change. Why spend the rest of your days doing something that you're not supposed to be doing? And this is a good time to turn. You know, we're mid-year, going into the second half of the year. This is a good, if you're doing a program or an initiative, or if you started something and it's not what you're supposed to be doing, you're not effective, you've done all the planning, the goals, everything is in place, and it's still not. It's kind of like the gentleman who owned the tree, and it wasn't producing fruit. And his worker said, wait, don't kill it, let me water it some more and dig a ditch around it and fertilize it, and if it still won't grow after that, then we'll chop it down. So do the assessments and see what you come up with, and see what the Lord tells you. So we're going to do a drawing. If anyone has anything